Well, hello. I'd like to invite you to my review of the Delike Smurfs Resin Acrylic Fountain Pen with the bent steel nib. So if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I'd invite you to subscribe. If you'd like to talk about some of the exciting new pens, including this one coming out from China right now, please feel free to leave your comments down below. Somebody may actually run into a pen they've never heard of before and want to try. So let's dive into the pen. So first thing that I noticed when I looked at this pen is, wow, that's pretty. I just realized that I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt that I wore back when I did my last hero review. Anyway, sorry, this is an ugly shirt. Anyway, it's pretty. When I say pretty, I mean, look at it. That's a beautiful acrylic. And I'll bring it up here so we can gaze at it more. Well, let's bring it up. You don't want to look at my Hawaiian shirt anyway. So we can gaze at it more lovingly. I mean, there's a little bit of chatoyancy. But just, it's like it's made out of little chips of, I don't know, unicorn boogers or something. Just very pretty. And even the section is the same material. Cartridge converter pen, of course. I don't think this material would work the best as a demonstrator, and right there around the nib, you can see why. The nib itself is nothing, no great shakes. It's a Delike, what's that say? Super quality, extra fine nib. And what's this? Did I drop that? Did I drop that on the floor? No. That nib is actually meant to be bent like that. It's a calligraphy thing. It makes it somewhat more brush-like. Now, the whole pink and blue thing being masculine and feminine, that's just a bunch of cultural propaganda that means absolutely nothing. So the color doesn't bother me at all. I think it's pretty. There is one thing, let's see if you can see it, that bothers me. Oh, let's see. Here's another Chinese pen. Do you see it? Oh, here's a nice Japanese pen. Do you notice something about them? Round, round. Flat, flat. Here's a Parker. Pointy, pointy. Here's another Parker. Flat, flat. What else do I have down here? Well, nothing within reach. Anyway, moral of the story is, what bothers me is, it's like this cap was not designed for this pen. I don't think that goes together. But, you know, the real test of a pen is how does it write. Those are all superficial things. So let's see how it writes. By the way, it does post. It looks decent posted. All right, so I've chosen ink that would fit with this pen pretty well. Sailor Story, a Dancer Pink, which is one of their pigmented inks rather than a dye-based ink. So let's check out flex. Well, I'll just, spoiler alert, no flex in this pen. But there is a lot of line variation. It's that bent nib. Now the thing with a bent nib, if you write upright, you get very fine lines. If you hold it at an angle, you get much broader lines. And that's supposed to somewhat emulate a brush. I find the nib a little scratchy. There is a tiny sweet spot, but I have trouble getting to it. So let's check out this pen's wetness and flow. I think my favorite ink I've had in here is Trementis Red Roses. Just smells good while I was writing with this pen, and it seemed to go with the pen. So that's my wetness and flow. Let's do a smear test. This is actually a fairly fast drying ink. And since this really is an extra fine nib, well, a lot more wet than I thought it would be. And then finally, and this would be a particularly interesting one with this specific nib, would be reverse writing. Because the other thing that a bent nib gives you, oops, and that's not how you spell oh. That is super extra fine, but scratchy as heck. So not a fan. I don't know if I mentioned, it is a screw cap. Decent, number of screws to screw it on. Let's do a longer form writing sample. So, no clip to show, so I don't need my little pen holder thing. Anyway, so would I buy this pen again? Well, I'll be honest, it's cheap enough. I'm not like super excited about it, so I don't know that I would buy it again if I lost it. I think I might look for the finish, but perhaps in a different pen. I just think that squared off and pointed, and tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I just don't think they match each other. And I just think of all the... I have a bunch of pens laying out here because I'm doing a whole bunch of batch reviews. Not all in this shirt, thank God. But, and they all have a finial and a knit and a cap that match each other. The only one that doesn't, that I have over here, isn't a fountain pen at all. It's a pencil. Which I just realized I covered it up completely. So, yeah, I think that's a little goofy with this pen. So probably I wouldn't buy it, but I might look for the material again, just because it is kind of pretty, and it's the only pink pen I have. And true story, did you know that pink used to be associated with boys and blue was associated with girls? Check that out sometime. Well, next time you say, oh, I'm too manly to wear a pink shirt. So check that out sometime. So anyway, if I probably left you about as clear as mud, but anyway, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, please feel free to subscribe. And if you'd like to comment about this pen, other low-cost Chinese pens, perhaps whether pink is really a girl thing and blue is a boy thing, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you want to dive in and defend me and my ignorant artistic knowledge about the pointy versus flat end, feel free to comment about that too. I'm pretty open for them here. So I thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.